Okay. Hey,
Very good.
hey, welcome to America. How's everybody doing? Greetings, residents of Chester's Mill. We have an exciting hour or so planned for you today from our esteemed council members on our Season 3 preview panel today. My name is Aaron Peterson. I will be the moderator for this evening. I can be found at thehollywoodoutsiders.com, not talking about Under the Dome at all. And with me today are the ones who should be running Chester's Mill instead of Big Jim or Julia or, hey, who's running things this week? No, Christ, it doesn't matter. To hell with it. Representing the Under the Dome radio podcast this evening, Sir Troy and Sir Wayne are in the house. How are things going, guys?
Going well. Hola, ¿cómo está? It's going to be bilingual this year.
Thanks for the Spanish lesson. We appreciate that.
Hey, I'm here to help. We are doing well, right, Sir Troy?
Absolutely, Sir Wayne. Glad to be with everybody. And I guess we have to add a foreign language teacher instead of a science teacher for Season 3.
Someone else for Big Jim to whack with a hammer.
Oh, that was so harsh.
Ouch. Yeah.
It's so angry. On the other side of town, yet still owned by Big Jim Media Group, we have the reporters from the Chester's Mill Gazette. Doug and Karen, what's new with you guys?
No.
We're having a great time here, man. Oh, wow. I can hardly wait to start this new season, frankly. Well, there's nobody named Frank, but anyway.
Same here.
And, is that a new character?
We're going to be trilingual. And since we're
Sign language?
Paper, we're going to have Braille and sign language. So for those that listen to our podcast, we're going to have both of those.
It doesn't work real well in the podcast, but
it's going to be perfect. Just wait.
I can do a little German, That's the best I got.
Are you trying to separate yourself from your competition here?
That's
by
right.
Introducing audio
Braille?
sign language?
That's right.
Well, to the north, hiding in the woods with Sam, but spying on everyone better than Andrea ever could, Mark from the Under the Dome podcast on Solo Talk Media.
Bonjour. J'ai bien hâte à saison 3 qui commence.
Ooh, look at that.
And with that, the show is over.
Drop the mic.
Was that French?
Yeah, that was French.
Oui.
Wow.
Oui. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to Season 3. I know it's the show is crazy, it's weird, but I have so much fun talking about it. Just ripping it apart and having a great time, so I can't wait for Season 3 to start.
Oh, I can't wait for more butterflies. New to the panel this year, reporting live from the now deserted Chumley's Cuts and Trims, and let's not forget Raptures and Stabbings, the Chester's Mill Report. Welcome Rob, Martha, and Olivia.
Hey.
Or is it just Rob and Olivia?
That's a good question. Is Martha with us today?
Did she fall down a cavern?
I'm not sure. She might be lost in the cavern.
Okay. And Rob, are you there, Rob? Oh, I think Rob, he went into the light. I don't know what happened to Rob.
He escaped.
Yep. Well, if she comes back, then we'll reintroduce Rob. Hopefully he's still there, and maybe he's not. Maybe he's hanging with Julia somewhere. I don't know. Let's kick this off with an easy one. After Season 2, are you guys all still coming back to do your podcast in Season 3? Mark?
As Doug coughs.
I didn't mute
I'm
that.
definitely coming back. The Under the Dome podcast will be there front and center.
What about everybody else? Troy, Wayne?
You bet.
You come back? Well, everybody's on. Doug?
Troy's off positive about that. I need to just have some talks just to make sure.
Yes,
Now
we're
let me-
coming out with a new volume of the Chester's Mill Gazette. We're getting the printing presses all wired up here.
Yep, that's right.
Okay, so everybody's coming back. Why? Olivia, why are you coming back? I mean, did you watch Season 2?
I did. Yeah, we did podcasts all throughout, and I actually was doing reviews for it for the formerly showrating.tv that we just switched over to tvbinges.com. So I got the dual pleasure of writing about it on a weekly basis and podcasting about it.
That's a lot.
Yeah, so I'm kind of knocking down one of those to just doing the podcast about it. So I'm still very excited.
Now, okay, here's what I want to ask. This is an important question. I want to ask why. Are any of you still as pumped about this show this season as you were last season? Raise your hands.
I'll say that I'm cautiously optimistic. I think at the very end of Season 2, they looked like they were open up things, really really blow the whole plot line, out away from. Some of the interpersonal things were a little tedious in my estimation. I mean, it's good to have character development, and I like to have character development, but I just think some of it was rushed because they had the short season. And then we finally got into some more of the myth arc. But I especially with that trailer that we seen, the extended season 3 trailer, I do have higher hopes. I wouldn't say they're high. I just say we're more so than season 2.
Yeah, I agree. It got really mushy. The more things they added to it, the more mushy it got, if that makes sense.
That's an interesting word. Why did you come up with mushy? Just sappy?
No, not that kind of thing.
'Cause that's what I think with mushy.
Storylines getting all mushed up.
Oh, yeah.
Where, like, they didn't get stretched out. We didn't get to see a lot of development. It just all got mushed together in an hour. And to me, that doesn't make for a fantastic program. It makes for sometimes an entertaining program, but not like a really great program. And it was like hit and miss last season. And I think what they did is they made it open to start kind of fresh. The way they did, there are a few threads hanging that they need to go back to and sew up. But otherwise, there's just this, is the dome open? Is it not? Is, Melanie really back? There's definite concrete dead people, concrete alive people. But otherwise, they're free to kind of go in whatever direction they want. So.
Well, speaking of ups and downs, let's just get into the nuts and bolts of it. I mean, in terms of last season, or from the show itself so far, I would say probably the second season is probably what most people are focused on since it's so recent. What were your favorite moments, Troy?
Favorite moments would be the first episode, because it was written by Mr. King himself. And I think that was really something that was the big highlight of the season, because it started out so good, and we got the apparitions, and we got the Dodie, poking her chest, and was a good scene. And then for some reason, the farther we got away from not Neil Baer, the farther we got away from Brian K. Vaughan's writing and story, I think is why it just kept going downhill fast. And so hopefully,
save the least favorite moments. You don't want to talk about those yet. Just what made you smile? Something made you smile, or you wouldn't be coming back this year.
Yeah, Esquivel getting squished by the car. That was awesome. Because she was great on Secrets and Lies.
That was really violent.
Yeah, she was good on that show.
Yeah, that first episode of season 2, not just because it was written by Stephen King, even if I had not known who wrote that episode, it was definitely the highlight of the whole season. That episode was a perfect 10, and I was so jazzed up for the entire rest of the season. But then, other things happened. But I would say I am just as jazzed about season 3 as I was for season 2 for the most part. It's going to be really interesting to see how it plays out. But no matter what, the listeners have spoken. They want to hear all of us talk about the show, whether it's off the rails or if it's to be taken seriously. They want to hear us talk about it, and so that's what we're going to
do. Do you think it's to be taken seriously? I'm not even sure at this point.
There you have it. We're unsure.
Right. That's the beauty of this show.
Rob, you're here now?
I am. In fact, my camera's working now too. This is like all magic right now.
Well, what about you? What did you think were your favorite moments from the show itself or season 2?
Well, the show itself, I think all my favorite moments are going to be wrapped up in the first season. That second season, man, was like having a stroke week after week after week. When we look at the first season, though, there was just a lot of fun. All the Big Jim stuff, the junior stuff, it was fantastic. I think the moment that sticks with me, though, when I think about like the first thing that comes to mind, was actually the scene in the barn when all four put their hands on the egg, or whatever we're calling it the little mini dome. And it's just one of those images that really stuck with me. I still can't figure out, though, how did they paint all the stars in that room? Do you remember that? How they got? I mean, it makes no sense to me.
Well, no, you're
you with
going
me on
back. Going back to least favorite. We'll talk about least in a second. There's got to be more
That was my
favorite.
favorite, though. The negative is the good here.
That's good in a bad way, I think. I don't know which way to look at that. Olivia, do you know what's your favorite?
I think of the series, just talking about Barbie and Julia's relationship, because I never understood why they were a couple, but the episode where the dome goes under the deep freeze in season 2, that was like kind of the first moment where I really kind of understood like any kind of chemistry between them, because when I was watching before, it just didn't make any sense, because either they were never in the same room together and then they were having a fight, and I'm like, why are we doing this? This like literally doesn't make any sense. That was kind of the first moment where I really kind of connected to them, and it lasted like a half hour total in like the entire series. But I think that had to be my favorite moment.
Mark?
I think Rebecca. Favorite one.
Oh, you stopped my heart there.
Actually, to be honest, I really liked Dwight Yoakam's portrayal of Lyle.
Oh, yeah.
Out of all the characters, I mean, the acting on the show isn't the greatest, but I thought he did a very good job of that character. And so if I'm going to pick something out of season 2, it was Dwight Yoakam. I enjoyed the addition of him to the cast.
All right, Allie?
Karen?
Karen? What'd I say?
That's my nickname.
It's been a long day.
It's all right. I like Dwight Yoakam, too. I thought he was really fun in that menacing sort of Stephen King-y sort of way.
Stephen King-y sort of
Well,
way.
you know how he is. I mean, how he was he was menacing, but it was like...
Quirky. A little quirky.
Yeah, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Quirky. And I also really liked Melanie. So.
White Light Melanie?
No. The ingenue Melanie.
Monotone Melanie.
Monotone Melanie.
No, I kind of liked her as one of the 4 hands.
Aw.
So. That's it.
Okay, Doug?
I think my favorite part of season 2 was them getting out of the dome. It really it moved forward the myth arc plot line there. I really enjoyed that. I like to see what's going on outside the dome. Because we got a little bit of that in the first season where they talked about maybe China was thinking the U.S. was building this impenetrable thing, and that there was some geopolitical, stuff going on that we really didn't know about. But they kept that kind of at a distance. That was good, kind of a mysterious what is really going on. But now we find out a little more about what's happening when they go back to Zenith. So I like that that whole few episodes about getting those kinds of answers.
Okay, Doug, when they're outside of the dome. Remember, we have to go back, Doug. We have to go back.
Okay,
wait, I lost that reference.
Oh, man, that's
I know, that's terrible. I'm sorry.
Before we go to the least favorite, which everybody seems to really want to talk about, I want to see if anybody can answer me this question. As a non-dedicated viewer, like all of you are, I don't watch it religiously as you do. But I did read the book as a big fan. I have watched the last show, and I want to know: can anybody actually tell me specifically what the dome is? And can you answer it and not giggle? Anyone?
Plexiglass.
Plexiglass? Nobody's got an answer.
My crackpot theory hasn't been disproven, so I'm still saying Giant's contact lens.
All right.
Okay.
I think it's transparent aluminum.
Oh. Okay.
Well,
And I'm giggling. I'm sorry. That was a Star Trek reference. Does no one get that?
Oh, yeah.
Hello, computer.
Okay.
All right.
I actually think it's more of a force field. I mean, it's got shape to it, but I think it's got something. I think it's more of a force field, and I think whatever that egg was generating that outward. And when that went away, I mean, I think we're going to see a lot of alien crap this year. That's what I think is going to happen.
All right, 3 thumbs up for alien crap.
Yeah, I mean, Falling Skies is going to be over this year, so you might as well transfer all that stuff over to Under the Dome.
Maybe they could skip the budget over there, too. That'd be great.
Maybe we could get Doug Jones on here. That'd be awesome.
Ooh, Doug Jones. That'd be great.
I get.
All right. Well, instead of going down the line, you guys seem to love to converse about this. Talk about whatever this was that was season 2. What were your least favorite moments from season 2?
Anything involving Junior. I am just not sold on that character. He is not only manic, but his motivations shift so easily from one week to the next that it just, I don't know. What's this guy doing? I can't follow him. I understand his motivation one week, but it switches, and I can understand that, but I don't know how we got from point A to point L.
Yeah, that was a big topic for us. And also Rebecca, just, the worst.
Nobody likes her.
No, she's the worst.
There's no reason to like her. My least favorite is the whole Barbie Julia thing, and I've ranted on that over and over and over. I mean, in the book, well, Julia was dead early on, and Barbie, they kind of made him out to be the hero that we rooted for in the book, but in the TV show, I keep hoping that somebody's going to kill off the characters of Barbie and Julia.
No.
Pretty darn quick. I know that it won't happen.
They're definitely not killing off Barbie. But...
No Barbie
Please
killing.
kill Barbie. Kill Barbie.
Buns get bigger every season. I leave him. He's getting prettier.
He practices hanging from a truck for 16 kilometers.
Yes, he's getting prettier every season. Please do not kill off Barbie. I say no.
How does he keep the beard so finely groomed is the question after 3 weeks.
I don't care.
Butterflies chew on it nightly, just lightly.
Right.
That actually makes sense somehow on the show.
It does.
That explanation will happen this season.
He is my eye candy.
I think
Sorry.
the disappointment, I guess is the way I could put it, was they had this really great opportunity with Lyle and when what we won't call the smoke monster grabbing people and pulling them back to Chester's Mill from Zenith, and Lyle didn't come along for the ride. When they dropped the egg over the cliff and Big Jim, did the oops and there it goes, I thought for sure the reason why Lyle was kept behind was because the Dome wanted Lyle to stay behind to catch the egg, kind of intercept it on the way through and bring it back to Chester's Mill. And when that didn't happen, and then he just shows up in a frozen lake talking about burning flyers and dragons and whatever the hell he was talking about, I was like, that was an opportunity missed. You could have done such a cool thing with saving the egg on the way back through.
Yeah, it would have been neat.
That's brilliant, actually.
One of the things that I didn't like on season 2 is that we did not get a whole lot. We barely got any of Benny. And Ben was the comic relief of season 1. He had some of the best lines of season 1. And he was nothing in season 2. So I'm really hoping...
Refresh me here. Ben is the skater boy, right?
Yep.
Correct.
As the guy.
When he came back in season 2, he was only in like 2 episodes, but he was now like a pretty hefty Asian guy. The same actor, but my God, he aged. I mean, we didn't recognize him at first.
It happens.
Running frustration on the podcast, just how did he become 40 over the season?
I do think we had that conversation every week.
Yes, you did. But just wait till this season. He's probably about 6'3", 32 years old.
He did make the trailer, so I mean that's a benefit for Benny, I guess. He's getting his game stepped up.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get more of him because he was funny in season 1.
Yes.
Well, so if we're going to keep comparing the show to Lost, he'll be Walt.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Short seasons will do that to you. Your characters age a whole lot more in a shorter span of time. So that's another one of those things.
Yeah. There's also Carolyn in season 2. I don't know what happened to her, but she had Nori, her daughter, was getting into so much trouble, and yet Carolyn was nowhere to be found. I mean, we saw her, I think, in the first episode, and then we didn't see her again until the 9th or 10th episode. And with all the stuff happening with everything, you'd think she'd be around to check on her daughter, but no well.
She's mourning, but hey, whatever, I'll just let my daughter run around all by herself.
Yeah.
She can't get very far.
That's
She's
true, but
trapped
still.
under a dome.
Yeah.
That is true. Like, where's she going to go?
Yeah.
The other side of town, which is about a block away.
Remember how we had the mom that was across the water? Do you think they're going to do anything with that? Because there were more houses over there. I mean, is this how we're going to get more people?
Yes.
That's the short answer. Thank you.
Yes.
No,
Well, we
the
already
island's
know
gone.
there's gonna
That's the
be-
problem. The island has been crushed by the moving dome as it comes
Oh.
through.
It's been moved by Benjamin Linus.
Now,
We already know that.
do we know that it's been crushed? I mean, the
No.
dome's been
No.
moving, but we didn't see it cut that way.
We already know there's going to be people that show up, and it says something to the effect of mysteriously arrived in Chester's Mill or something to that effect. So they come from somewhere else in Chester's Mill.
Somebody else's locker.
Just so you know, yeah.
The janitor closet. They're all
Right.
covered in orange sawdust because that they used to clean up barf, and they're like,
Because
"Oh God, we're here!"
They only have one set every year, and last year was the school.
Right.
Wow. Well, let's go into some of the writing, the plot, the characterizations, especially in season 2. General hits and misses for you personally. Olivia, we'll start with you. What do you think? What worked or didn't work at all, story-wise?
Here's my thing with season 2. It didn't work for me because it just was so non sequitur. Like, every single episode kind of existed in a vacuum. Like, there was no link between the episodes. So, like, I just kind of went in each week knowing that everything that we covered wasn't really going to have any direct link to the previous episode, and it wouldn't link to the next one. And it was very frustrating because by the time we got to the season finale, it just was this jumbled mess of a plot, and there were no consistent characterizations, and oh my gosh, it was fun to watch, but yeah, definitely from like a storytelling perspective, oh my god, it was a headache.
Oh, yeah.
I love hearing people talk about this show. It's never, this is one of the smartest and most intricately written shows I've seen on television. It's never that. It's like there were butterflies and white light, and I don't know what else happened. I don't know what else.
My favorite is Tuesday mornings when Aaron would actually write me on Facebook Messenger, and he would say, "These ladies on the other side of the cube wall are just ripping on your show." And I was like, good. What are they saying? We need material for the podcast.
Give me fodder.
They would, because see, I stopped watching it for a while, and I would catch up. I'm a binge watcher by nature, and I've got ladies behind me that sit near me where I work, and they would be talking about the show, so I'd overhear their conversation, and it was like the season started off with, oh my god, it was so cool, it's so cool, and then by about mid-season it started going just nutty, and they were not happy, and they got less happy and less happy. They started drinking more coffee. I think there was liquor involved by about the finale, so.
That sounds about right.
Just put a little recorder there.
I don't drink, and I was drinking every episode last summer.
You made a drinking game out of it. Yeah.
Ask Olivia. I'd come on the show and be like, I just drank a whole thing of wine. Let's go.
What did you guys think about Zenith? Anyone? This whole concept of Zenith itself.
That was, as I mentioned earlier, that was the thing I liked. One of the things I liked about this, because it really moved the plot about the dome, not necessarily about the people and their reaction to it. I mean, that's part of it, but the plot about the dome got moved forward a lot during those 3 or 4 episodes. It was good.
The disappointing part of it, though, was that in that first episode, it was such a cool experience when Junior has the whole place is deserted and the obelisk thing, and everybody's praying to the obelisk, it seems, because it's on all the signposts, and everything is the egg is even pointing to the obelisk, and we don't hear about the obelisk for the entire season.
That
And
weird
then-
acid trip dream that he has.
It was
walking through.
cool.
I know, it was awesome. I love.
And then he Barbie shows up in the park, and it's the next town over. It was
Yeah.
it couldn't be across the country, or it couldn't have been in another time zone or dimension. No, it's just the next town over.
That was such a terrible payoff. Yeah.
I will say that
in the
if
future too, that would have been awesome, right?
I will say, if a guy shows up in the middle of a playground, supposedly, I don't know, just appearing or falling out of the sky, you'd think a few people would turn their head and say, "What's that?"
No, that would make too much sense. Nobody.
You cannot accuse this crowd of being fanboys and fangirls. I will say that.
Yeah, I would agree with that. You
No,
guys-
actually, this is exactly what fanboys and fangirls do. I'm sorry, but this
Pick
is
it apart?
exactly what we do. Yes. You
When
have never had a conversation about Star Trek.
Exactly.
And
And
the haters. The haters are definitely the ones that are, not haters, but snarky haters are the ones that are the fans of the show, because when the show itself starts throwing things in it's a giant suckhole from Nori, or in the preview for the season 3, and Big Jim is there's nothing good on television anyway.
Right.
You know they're making fun of themselves.
Yeah, definitely.
How about Big Jim? You brought up Big Jim. I'm really curious what everybody thought about his. Would you call it an evolution, or would it just be his descent into cartoonism? Because as the
I
series,
think your second statement was absolutely accurate.
I think just yes.
just yes.
Just
I
yes.
wouldn't call it evolution.
And
Although he
just
did grow into the role. That's a joke about his stomach.
But bump.
I think Dean Norris is amazing.
Yeah, he is.
I really do, and I think his character is great to watch. But he's a caricature.
Definitely.
Definitely. He's bigger than the screen, and he chews scenery like nobody's business. And Dean Norris is great at that. So
Yeah, the problem I had with his descent into cartoon, it was, he's going with all this religious overtone, and where is this coming from? From within him, from his character. You get the impression that if he is religious at all, it is merely a front because everybody else expects that from him or something like that. But you don't get. I don't see where this really deeply held commitment to the dome is and almost like near worship of it. It's like, where is that coming from? We don't have a clue, and that was a little disappointing.
Well, in episode 4, when he kills Barbie, spoiler alert, Big Jim. Well, we can hope. We can hope. I mean, in the book, I can't give away the spoilery ending, but let's just say in the book, Big Jim kills a lot more people than he's killed on the television show.
Oh yeah.
And I think the show itself is turning into a comedy, but I have heard and read some rumblings that things are going to be totally different in season 3, and we're going to be amazed.
Didn't we hear that before though? Will?
I was amazed in season 2.
Every week I was like, what are they going to do next? I can't wait.
Yeah.
We've had every type of storm front come through that dome. I don't know what's left.
Well, we've had what? Blood, acid, actual rain, fire, earthquakes.
Black
Tornadoes,
ice.
Yeah.
black
Yeah.
ice, phosphorescent butterflies.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And
This season there's going to be a crap storm. Look out.
That's just the show. That's
All right.
Wow.
I'll say one of my high points in this has been the characterization for Barbie. Now, Olivia's, noticing that that the romance between he and Julia was kind of, rushed, and given that aside, I think he's been a good, a foil for Big Jim, but one which has a reasonable, motion going forward, the development of his. I don't know. He's just seemed more believable in the span of the, I guess it's a couple of weeks now, or maybe it's 21 days. I don't know how long the real time has been, but I think it's been a really good, a development of that character. He was the bad guy at the beginning where he'd killed Julia's husband, and then now he's kind of, with a good heart, and it's just been a good story for him. But I just haven't seen that too many others.
May he rest in peace.
Yeah.
stop it, Wayne.
Do you think when you look at Dean Norris, he's the only actor in the entire show that realizes he's taking it too far?
Oh yeah, his Sleestack impression at the end was awesome because they knew it was a homage to Land of the Lost.
Land of the Lost.
Lost.
Now, what about, because you guys, there's no way you're watching this story progress without at least getting behind some of it, and I mean you're doing entire shows on it. So what story beats, or at least throughout the season, did you really get sucked into that weren't just crazy? You thought, wow, that's a really good twist. It's a good turn. That's a good character motivation, whatever.
I'll go. I think the Hounds of Diana edition was interesting at first, and then when you found out where it actually ended up, it was another great thing that could have been so much more that they just really, dropped the ball on. Quite frankly, I mean, the guy was interesting, but I really wanted to see more come out of the website itself as a third screen experience type of thing. but I really like the whole concept of Maxine. I can't believe I'm actually saying her name.
Wow.
I like the concept that Maxine worked for a bigger corporation, this real estate brokering company or something. And then here we saw in Zenith that Action Energy was moving into a place that was just recently sold. So my question is this bigger thing with Maxine and the drug story actually tied into Action Energy somehow? That's the one storyline besides Where Did the Dome Come From that I think would keep you watching for right now.
Wow. Next thing you know, Troy's going to be talking about the Fight Club.
We don't talk about
Can't
Fight
talk
Club.
about it.
Wait, that might have been my favorite part. Let's go back.
How about you, Mark? You've been kind of quiet. What about you? Is there any changes you're a big fan of?
Changes? I don't know, but there was a few things in season 2, just plot-wise, that I just found they would introduce things and then it would just end. Like there was no follow-up to them, and like an example in I can't remember what episode, but when Sam and Barbie were going into the tunnel, and Sam took the left and Barbie took the right, and they both ended up at the same place, and yet when they go back, there was no branches or anything. There was no way for that to happen. They never went back to explain like what was the purpose of that. It was just it happened. Let's move on. Then there was something like, didn't Sam at one point, we saw that he had the shakes, and then we saw that Pauline also had the shakes, or Barbie, and it just led me to believe that anybody that left the dome ended up having something wrong with them, get the shakes, but they never went any further with that either. And of course,
do you think that's something that's going to be they're going to be touched on this season, or you just think they left it alone?
It's so many things they left alone. Just like there was that episode where Joe and Nori, Joe pulls out the gun from the desk, and Nori says, "You know, the last time you had a gun, whatever you were going to shoot Junior or whoever, so put that gun back." And I thought for sure that was like one of those Chekhov guns thing, or Chekhov, yeah, exactly, Chekhov's gun, where we were going to see later that he pulls out the gun or somebody pulls out the gun, but no, it never went back to that gun. So what was the point of that scene of Joe pulling the gun out of the drawer and then showing us that he's putting the gun back? Unless they come back to it in this season, but that's just a long time for me to do something like that. You usually expect something either that episode or the following episode. And I just found there was a lot of those little plot points that were just left dangling for no reason.
Yeah, and the problem with trying to go back to them in season 3 then is because the viewing audience, it's been a year since you've seen it, and unless you have a previously on Under the Dome and you recap season 2, you're gonna forget about it.
Yeah.
Right, and then if they recap it and they show him putting it back in the drawer, well, then you're giving away the fact that they're going to use that gun in this episode. So
Yes.
why even do it?
Yeah, exactly.
Then it's oh, well, they're going to use a gun in this episode. I can't wait. What's the point of that? Yeah. But one of the things I really liked was there were themes sometimes in the episodes about, like, being reborn. And I talked about this a lot on our podcast, but when people would come out of the water and with the egg and things like that, someone like Melanie was dead, but when she came back to life, she came out of the water. And I did like that they used imagery like that. And Doug and I did talk about it, and I kind of dug that I made Doug go, "Wow, that's really smart." So that was a fun part of doing it, is picking up on that sort of thing, and to pick up on tropes that they used as well, like the Chekhov's gun. And whenever there was a butterfly, like what is her name? Angie had a butterfly tattoo, and then later on they talked about the monarch. It all kind of tied in together. So they would do these trope things throughout, and it would be cool to pick up on those sort of Easter egg things. So I hope they do more of that, but I don't like the missing threads, as Mark was saying. That really bothers me. I agree with him, especially about that gun thing, about the shaking, about the seizures. They never, ever went back to the seizures. I mean, that was literally just to have them say something about stars. And and then it was completely gone. And they were bleeding and they had the shakes when they went to Zenith, and then all of a sudden they're cured and we never hear anything about it. You know, I don't get it. So
Yeah, I think you're right, Karen. I think that one problem with the show is they are missing that continuity. It doesn't seem like somebody is watching continuity. It seems like they're throwing ideas out there. They're like, what can we do this week? And things are going away that shouldn't go away. You take a show like Breaking Bad. We're talking about Dean Norris. So you take a show like Breaking Bad. All those little things that happened throughout had a reason. And when they came back, it was appropriate. Here, I don't think we're going to see them laying on the floor shaking. I don't think we're going to get another awesome scene of Joe while they're having the seizure sitting up and putting his finger to his mouth and saying, shh.
Yeah, me either.
And that was fantastic. What was that? And
right.
Gone.
And it's good. It's all well and good that we don't, because that's too far in the past.
Right, but they shouldn't have let it go, though.
Right. Or they shouldn't have put it in the first place. Either or. You know, don't put it in or don't drop it.
Yeah, and I have a feeling this year that hole going to Zenith will be covered up, and now they'll have another.
Oh yeah, it's this stuff is all wiped clean.
Yeah, and it's like, same, but it's the same problem. It's like now they don't even need continuity from the last season. So, maybe that's the route. Maybe they will have it from day one of season 3, and maybe we can live with that. But I don't have high hopes.
Okay. Well, no high hopes. Sounds like some thoughts about season 3 right there. Let's just jump into season 3 and predictions on what you want to see, what you think you're going to see. Are you going to see some continuity and maybe some clarity? I'm hoping for clarity. Olivia, what about you? You've been quiet for a little bit. What do you want to see this season?
Oh my gosh, I don't even know at this point. I'm kind of watching this show with just kind of a sick fascination at this point. I'm not really going in with any expectations. I kind of just want to see. I ideally would love to see continuity, and I would love to see, again, like storylines that link up and characters that seem a little bit more genuine. But then the part of me that's watching the show as a comedy kind of just wants to see what happens.
It's like Big Bang Theory under the dome.
Basically.
That's funny. Now, Troy, you've got crazy theories. You always do. What do you think the light is?
Oh man, the light is a really interesting thing because we've seen it a couple times, and I think I have to say it has to do something with the ghost figures around potentially like an echo of some kind. Like I feel from what I've seen of the season 3 extended trailer and what we've known so far that it's going to be some sort of like echo flash, which may have been caused because of the bomb hitting the dome back in, was that 4 or 5? In season 1, and because of that, I think we're going to see like reflections of each other. So maybe what happens is that when they cross through into the light at the end of season 2, they're actually going into a different time or space, and because of that, they're actually going to be the people communicating with themselves, if you will, like when Joe was talking to Joe in the woods, or when they saw Alice in season 1, or Angie, or Dodie. Maybe it's like themselves talking to themselves, is my prediction.
Troy, can you write the show, please?
It'll probably turn out to be nothing but a white light. That's
exactly.
it. They'll walk through it, get on the other side, and that's it.
But we ended both seasons the same way with a bright white light, so that has to be significant.
Well, let's hope it is.
Based on the special effects budget, maybe not.
Nothing has to be significant.
Somebody maybe forgot to turn the camera on the other side, so it just
Right.
didn't pan out.
Melanie comes into the room from behind that wall, and then she moves aside, and there's a big spotlight behind her. That's it.
It's a traffic stop.
You're on the Truman Show.
Yeah, exactly.
You're seeing through the elevator.
What I'm hoping to find out is how many people are really still trapped on the other side of that ravine in Chester's Mill with Big Jim. Is it just going to be, what was it, Big Jim?
Yeah, it looked like a couple of people, and that was it.
But
It looked like it was just the 3.
That's what I think, but I have a feeling
That'll be an exciting show.
Some of these new cast additions, I think we're going to find a lot more people in Chester's Mill trapped, left behind that we didn't know about. So it's going to be interesting to see how they play that off. And Will Julie finally get over Barbie, knowing that he's on his way to death in season 4, episode 4 or 5? I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see what happens.
I only got one thing to say to that, Wayne. No.
Agreed, Troy.
What about you?
That was my Julia impression.
Karen, that was a very bad Julia impression.
It was really bad. No.
Karen, what about you? What are you hoping for this season?
I'd like to see stronger arcs, more carry through, obviously, and even if they're short, like 3-episode arcs, that would be good. And I wouldn't mind seeing these Spectre sort of characters come back, like maybe Jeff Fahey as Duke, come back to tell them something, or like we had some of those happen last season. That was pretty cool, and I also missed Esquivel and Angie and them. Come back and warn them from the past or from the future or from whatever alternate reality they're in, or I think it would be cool. Why not get a paranormal sort of vibe going on this show? It's silly already, right?
And they could bring Officer Randolph back with him as well.
Yeah. No.
Yes. He was awesome.
You want Randolph? Okay.
Yes, he was awesome.
Rob, what about you? What do you want to see?
I'm just along for the ride. I really don't have anything. It went so far off the rails last season. I saw the questions today, and I was thinking about this, and I literally can't come up with something other than I just want to see more crazy stuff. I want Big Jim to go nuts, and I want Junior to go back to being insane Junior. He almost got his redemption, was almost a hero in this. I don't want that. I want Crazy Junior.
What? You mean when he shot his dad in like the sleeve?
Yeah. Come on, man. Let's get crazy. I want Crazy Junior. Lock somebody up in a bunker. Be borderline personality. I like it all, man.
See, that's another thing. In season 1, Junior, he was having headaches. He was having problems. You knew there was something physically wrong with him.
Yeah, he should have been dead by season 2, but
season 2, nothing.
He's not.
He didn't complain about headaches. He didn't anything. It was, anyways, another plot thing that they let fall.
I know something else I'd like to see. I want to see that police uniform continue through every episode.
Yes.
Move from person to person. That person, it's like a red shirt.
Oh, like on Roseanne, how she had the chicken shirt, and sometimes Jackie had it, and sometimes Dan had it.
Literally like a red shirt. Whoever wears it is dead by the end of the episode, and then it goes to the next person who is meant to be the policeman.
Oh.
I'm not going to wear it. You wear it.
Right.
It is a CBS property tied to Paramount. You never know.
That's right.
I want to make sure everybody gets their piece in here, because this is always a fun one for people. So, Doug, what do you want to see this season?
Yeah, I'd like to see more answers. I think that's kind of the running gag here, that we get all these setups but no answers. Another one I had thought of was the vision that the 4 hands saw of Big Jim bleeding, and the kids, seeing the knives in their hands. That's was that a season 1 or season 2? I don't recall, but
1.
One.
Yeah,
okay,
that was season 1.
So, we've gone a whole year and still haven't seen a payoff on that. Most people are not going to remember that. So, yeah, I would like to see at least some recognition that there are some, outstanding questions. Let's deal with them. And, of course, I think the origin of the dome is going to be based on, like I said, the trailer. I think we're going to get something like that. I just really hope it's worth that it's a payoff worthy of waiting this long.
Me too. Me too. Mark, I don't know if you got a chance to go. You just pointed out a bunch of obvious, really bad problems with the scripts.
Yeah, but
what do you want to see?
In season 3, 2 things. First of all, I would really like to see more deaths. Call me morbid or whatever, but if you've read the book, it seems like every chapter somebody was dying. And we had a few deaths at the beginning, and then season 2, barely anybody, except for Jim killed a couple of people. But other than that, the dome itself didn't kill or just being trapped there. I wanted to see, every time they'd say, who's going to survive, and then the episode would go by and everybody survived. And I really would like it to parallel more the books, where we get we see how dire it is, where people are starving, they're running out of air, and they're just dropping dead. I mean, if you've read the book, you know there's not a lot of
That's a
people.
good idea. Let's have everybody drop dead.
But
Well, it's true. It is a Stephen King property.
yeah, in the book, I mean, most of the town doesn't survive, and yet in here we still have almost every citizen of the town is still alive, save for what we've probably lost 20 in the 2 seasons.
Well, that's because of budget cuts. There was only 20 extras that could get paid this year.
The other thing I really want is I really hope they hire a better science advisor.
Oh,
Because
She was amazing. What's wrong with you?
The only reason she was on the show was for the payoff of, oh my gosh, Melanie exists in both times. She's 2
Right.
hands. That's all that's all she was needed for the entire season.
I'm not talking about Rebecca. I'm just talking about overall somebody
Oh, actual science.
an actual science advisor, because the
Oh, you can't have real science in this show. It has no place.
Yeah, what's wrong with you?
I mean, you show me an airplane that scrapes its wing along the dome there and doesn't cartwheel into the dome itself? Come on.
that's
That
true.
would have been great.
Plus the lightning rod thing, and there was like 100 other things. Science.
Magnetism thing.
Right.
It's the blood rain. She says, well, all I have to do this and it'll stop. So she pours this stuff in the lake and all of a sudden the rain stops falling.
Right.
Like, doesn't
Right.
this stuff have to evaporate?
It has to actually work. Right. Yeah, I mean, there were 100 things that, like, in 5 seconds, just me, personally, and I'm not a scientist at all, debunked it in my head. And I'm like, okay, who is writing this crap? So, yeah. Plus, it was Rebecca delivering it.
The issue with the deaths, though, I mean, I understand what you're saying as compared to the book, but as Olivia has said, this is pretty much turned into a comedy, and that, you know, to have, I think that would be kind of a cognitive dissonance. Not that we don't have that already, but it just wouldn't fit the mood, I guess. It doesn't really. It doesn't really further that's the mood. Like I said, the mood of the show.
But as you said, they've turned it into a comedy, but it's not meant to be a comedy, and I don't think they set out to make a comedy. It's just that's the way the viewer is perceiving it. I mean, a lot of people are just taking it at face value and laughing it off like we all are.
Well, for example, in the book, there's no 4 hands touching an egg.
No.
Oh, there's
Or
no
any kind of spaceship.
You
The
had me
egg,
at
the
spaceship.
egg cracks me up. The egg cracks me up.
It cracks me up, too.
All right, well, let's go around and basically everybody gets their shot. So when I say your name, you can say your favorite and your least favorite character on the show, and they can be living or dead. I don't think it really matters. And we'll start with you, Karen. Who's your favorite and least favorite? And you can explain why. And feel free, everybody, to jump in with your own additions to what they're saying. Feel free.
My favorite? Really? Do I have to say it?
The guy with the guns?
Barbie, yes. Hello.
It's such a manly name.
It is. We have a Barbie of the week on our show. And he comes with, like, you know, batteries not included. It's that kind of Barbie.
That
So.
sounds inappropriate. And your least favorite?
It is inappropriate. You're correct. My least favorite, really, honestly, it's Rebecca. I can't think of a character I hate more than Rebecca. I hated her like flames at the side of my face, burning, sighing, heaving flames.
I love Clue. I love Clue.
Me too.
Beautiful reference. Oh, high five. Internet high five.
Internet high five.
That's what Lyle was doing. He was watching Clue. For his...
That's it.
Wayne, what about you, Wayne? Who's your favorite and least favorite, and why?
Oh, now I have to explain why, too?
Why not?
My favorite, I'm going to go with Lyle. Lyle Chumley was so unique, so creative, and although he did have a very suspect ending, he was just a great addition. It's hard to believe that some of the best acting in season 2, just in my humble opinion, was from a country singer with the Bakersfield sound. I thought Dwight Yoakam did a fantastic job, and it was just so different than anything I could have imagined from the book. And the least favorite character, so Karen already stole my first choice, so my next least favorite character, Melanie. When she died and then she's back yet again, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, seriously? Melanie.
Sorry.
They're going home, though. so that's good, right?
Allegedly.
We're going home.
She's a
I
liar.
can't wait.
She's a liar. What about you, Rob? Favorite, least favorite?
Boy, well, you've taken both of mine. But I guess boy, Rebecca's the worst. I'm gonna go with that right there. I found her to be so displeasing throughout the season. At first it was funny, then it got to be just so annoying that it kind of derailed the show for me. Favorite is a toss-up. I actually was going to say Dwight Yoakam also, because I thought, surprisingly, he was acting on this show. I'm a big fan of his. I thought that when I saw he was going to be on it, I thought this is going to be fun, he's going to be interesting, and he was. The ending for him was really bad, but the rest of it was cool. I found him to be really interesting. But I suppose since he's gone, not forgotten, I'm going to have to go with Junior, because it's been a love-hate relationship with Junior. But he's a fun one to talk about. He's interesting. If Crazy Junior can come back, I'm all on board with him. So there we go.
All right. Mark, what about you, Mark? Favorite, least favorite?
Well, favorite character, I'm going to say Joe. I just like his enthusiasm. He does make some crazy decisions and that, but I just like the enthusiasm of youth, his whole infatuation with Nori, and just his brains. I mean, he's the smartest kid and smartest person in town, and I'm really enjoying him. As far as least favorite, Rebecca, if out of the dead characters, Rebecca, I just didn't like her. I mean, everything, she always said everything so serious, and she was so high on herself and thinking she was so almighty. And then I also agree with Melanie. And Melanie, not so much for the character, but the portrayal. I can't stand the way she's always whispering everything as if it's some big secret. No matter what she's saying, she's always...
It is a big secret.
But
We're going home.
Yeah,
You're telling me that you're my brother.
So I just don't like the. I don't know if I don't remember seeing her in anything else, so I don't know how she acts in anything else. But I just didn't like the acting of her, whatever her name is.
Okay, Doug, favorite, least favorite?
Well, my favorite and least favorite are going to be swapped around with some other folks here.
That's fine.
My most favorite was Melanie, and I'll tell you why. As you may have picked up, I really like the myth arc that is going on here. Want to hear more about that, not so much about how crazy Junior is this week and how insane Big Jim is this week. And okay, whatever, they're nuts. Fine, let's go on. Let's move the plot forward. So I liked Melanie in her purpose was to get a lot of that moving across and discoveries based on the fact she found her in the yearbook and all that business. So I liked how that character was used. Yeah, again, maybe not the acting, but I liked her purpose in getting the plot moving forward. My least favorite, I can't say Rebecca, because for me she was a very one-dimensional character. She did not have a whole lot to her. She was just like most people have been saying. She was there to be the science-y person and explaining the weird stuff and not really doing a good job of it. So kind of one-dimensional. My least favorite is Junior, because there is so much potential there, and he's just been not written very well, frankly. And like I said, with his shifting moods and his shifting motivations constantly, with no real explanation of why they went one way or the other, he seemed to nobody in town seemed to think he was nuts until the dome came down, and all of a sudden he's nothing but nuts. And it just seemed like that was a quick flip, and then he flips again week to week. So that's a lot of potential not realized.
Okay, Olivia, favorite, least favorite?
I have to go with Big Jim as my favorite. I just think he's so ridiculous and so flamboyant and so monomaniacal, and the fact that he cannot seem to get a shirt that fits, which is I think he's evil because he needs to get a shirt that doesn't fit 4 times too small.
That's amazing, Olivia.
He thinks he works it
that's,
out.
that's my theory that I've been working on. I think my least favorite, I'm kind of jumping on the Rebecca bandwagon. I can't with her. I love how everyone kind of seemingly forgot that she like tried to commit genocide one episode, and they were like,
Right.
that. They decided to like sweep that, under the rug or under the dome or wherever they decided to put that.
When the sun sets on Chester's Mill, all is forgiven.
Yeah, that totally was fine that she wanted to, wipe out the entire town. So I can't with Rebecca.
That's too funny. Troy, you're the last. Favorite,
All right.
least favorite.
I'll be totally different. I'm going to say Angie because she was awesome in season 1, and I was really pissed off that she was the one that ended up getting whacked in the first episode. Because I thought that her craziness that kind of went on that she had in season 1, I thought her character was going to be more, especially because of that. I think it was a butterfly tattoo. I wasn't quite sure.
Yep, it was a butterfly tattoo.
Well, of course it was. Everything cool has butterflies in the show. So.
Yep.
Yeah, so Angie personally, but obviously Dwight Yoakam was fabulous. Loved Lyle's character, even though I don't know where he was all of season 1, just sitting in the barbershop waiting for customers, I guess. Least favorite, I'm going to have to go with Phil in season 2. I felt that Phil was very interesting. The backstory with his whole gambling thing and how he tied into Barbie and Maxine and that whole thing in season 1, I thought was great. And then he just became Big Jim's lapdog and couldn't think for himself. And then just the weirdness at the food pantry. And yeah, so Phil kind of dropped off for me because Rebecca is in a different class.
Yeah. Good choices.
And nobody picked Julia for anything.
No.
She's not good or bad. She's just bleh. Is that what you're saying?
Middle.
Wow.
Wearing
She's so
the
pretty.
bandages on the outside of her.
And
Every
Bart,
time she's
interesting.
she's on, all I keep thinking is, look at her gorgeous locks of
Yes.
hair.
all
That's
the
it.
women had great hair. I don't know where they were washing it every week.
The magic of the
But now
dome.
that Lyle's gone, things are going to go south for him.
Oh my
That's
god.
true.
Oh.
She
Poor
does
Barbie,
not.
he's going to be all scruffy now. Sorry, Karen.
It's all right. She did not go to Lyle to get her hair done. And you know what? I'm okay with Barbie being scruffy.
Oh, maybe there'll be a female hairdresser that's going to show up this season.
Maybe.
Ooh.
Wash your hair in the lake.
That's
yes,
who they're
indeed.
bringing in from CSI, yeah.
All
I want
right.
to give a shout out. My favorite new character from season 2 was Hunter. I enjoyed
Oh,
him.
yeah, me too.
Just the way his enthusiasm about the dome. He was so excited about everything. Even going to visit the dome, he was all like, yes, he had his own agenda and everything, but I liked his enthusiasm and his the adventure of the whole thing, that the way he saw it. So I enjoyed him.
May I give a counterpoint to that?
Sure.
Sure.
I think Brett Cullen was a great casting decision, but he was very badly used in season 2. I love Brett Cullen, but his character was so badly used. So as a counterpoint to that, poor Brett Cullen.
Poor Brett Cullen.
Yeah, as Dawn Barbara.
Now, I don't know who here has read the book on our little panel, so anybody can chime in to this question, okay? So whoever has actually read the book. Are there storylines from the book you still want to see that haven't been covered? Anyone?
The whole book.
Yeah.
Maybe that part that says the end. I kind of
does
look forward to that
vary.
part.
It does vary greatly. I mean, even
As soon as you're past the first chapter, it's different. And as far as that goes, as soon as you're like halfway through the first chapter, it's different. So, yeah, any part of it really. Right? I mean,
Oh, look at it. Angie didn't survive the first chapter of the book. So.
no, not at
Maybe
all.
all we've seen is the first chapter. This is going to go on for like 17 years. I know.
I'm willing to
Sorry.
bet money it is not. I'm willing to bet money it does not.
No.
They're gonna have to keep going crazier and crazier just to get internet memes and other things going for them.
Do we have any predictions as to how many seasons this will run?
3.
3.
I'm on board with 3.
Depends
3
on
is probably pretty accurate, although I thought it was going to be canceled after 2. You know, this thing, it could go 5 years. We don't know, but I think this is going to be it. I'm
It
hoping.
got good ratings last year, though, for a summer series. So
Does CBS own this one?
Yes.
yeah,
Okay, then it could go 4 or 5. It really depends.
It
I mean,
could,
if the
yeah.
ratings hold up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the
it made
Amazon
a lot
deal.
of money. It made a lot of money for them. So I mean, as long as it's making money, I don't think they really care how much crabbing we do about it. They're going to keep it going.
right.
Yeah, if the
And
international market's there and the Amazon check keeps coming and clearing,
right.
you're good.
They would
Right.
never put it on in the regular season, though. I mean, it's a summer series.
Oh, no.
Oh man.
Oh, would
Can you
never.
imagine 24 episodes of this? Oh,
No. No, 13.
Or how about 26 and we get 13 in the winter too?
No,
Oh,
never.
no. Let's not even put that thought out there.
No. This is a
All
summer
right, cut it
show.
out.
Always summer show.
What about thoughts on Eric LaSalle as the CEO of Acteon Energy? Apparently, he's directing episode 9 this season.
Yeah, he's a new cast addition. So I paused because obviously Pauline was from the ER Club, and now we have Eric LaSalle is actually going to be on the show, not just in a director stint. So Neil's going to bring in his friends because that's what Neil knows. And ER was on for a long time, so it must have worked. I guess the bigger question is going to be, how does the CSI crew play into this with Marge coming in?
George Clooney's coming up next week, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I think, after
Well,
Tomorrowland, there's a
Julia
chance.
Margulies, right? She's on the CBS. She could come make a guest appearance and promote The Good Wife.
Sure.
These are a
Crossover
lot of
event.
optimistic things that you guys are talking about.
But
Isn't-
Eric LaSalle's character, he's not just going to be a guest. He's, according to IMDb, he'll be in every episode. So
He's like the big bad dude.
yeah, so we're going to see him a lot, and I actually like him as an actor. So I'm
he's a
looking
very good actor. That's very exciting. So, in closing thoughts. Anybody have any closing thoughts on Under the Dome season 3 or reflection back to season 2? You want to make sure to get in there before we're done. Anyone?
Well, although a lot of shows are truly about, the characters, not necessarily answers, I do want to see some answers. I want to know what the dome is, where it's from, why we've got this stinking egg, and I want to know if Acteon Energy is like the Widmore Industries from Lost, and that they are actually orchestrating the whole thing. We need at least those answers. Don't you agree?
Something.
Well,
Absolutely.
They claim that the writers or whoever producers claim that in the pilot, season 3 pilot, we're finally going to find out the truth behind the dome, the answer. Now, do you guys believe we're actually going to get the full answer and know exactly what the dome is?
Heck no.
Why would we? Then why are we watching this show after that point?
Right. Absolutely not. No.
Unless they can create a whole new set of questions. Okay, now we know that aliens from Mars have done it. Well, what's their motivation? But they really have to sell it. They really got to sell it. Yeah.
Yeah, but on the same token, they have to sell it, but they also have to give something, because I think after the backlash, and they took huge backlash last season, I think they have to give something to the audience, and they have to whet the appetite again to even get them invested again. To make this a water cooler show again, they have to give you something to entice you to come back, and just being crazy isn't going to do it, I don't think.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're going to give us just enough to get us invested, and then we're going to have to try and decode the rest of the story, as it were. R.I.P. Paul Harvey. But and no one will get that. That's
I got it.
I
got
got
it.
that. Oh, yeah.
Oh, the old people got it.
Okay.
Hey.
Hey,
Older.
radio people got it.
Radio.
Olivia's like, what?
Yeah.
Oh, poor
Who's
Olivia.
Paul Harvey?
Yeah. So I'm just hoping that they close up a few threads and maybe keep the show tighter this season. Really, that we really need a tighter show. And if there's one thing I have to ask is I want to see Troy and Wayne in full body armor with swords
With knights.
and helm, please.
Why?
Why?
Because of
Sirs.
our monikers?
They're sirs.
Start LARPing under the dome?
They are Sir Troy and Sir Wayne.
Okay,
So
we
I
have to do
require
it. Troy, when we go to a Packers game, that's our outfit.
Or just stand close enough together and take a picture so that I can Photoshop you guys.
I don't think you can bestow knighthood upon yourself. I don't know what the rules are, but I'm pretty sure that's one of them.
We were
In
the
Chester's
the
Mill,
fans.
No,
the
a
fans
fan
knighted
did it.
us.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, we didn't make this up ourselves.
Sure you did. Did you pay your fans? Because that doesn't count.
That might have been the case, but I don't know.
Surprisingly, it was the Queen Mother that was a fan and knighted you guys. So that's
Wow.
pretty impressive.
That is impressive. That is
The
impressive.
Queen Mother is going to call in with her Barbie of the Week, week 5, with the Rest in Peace Barbie, complete with his own glow-in-the-dark coffin.
Oh no,
Sorry.
Well, that's Barbie's dream coffin, isn't it?
Barbie Dream Coffin.
Only.
And
under the dome.
Wayne and Troy have contributed several Barbies of the Week, which we loved.
Which we do appreciate, absolutely.
Yes. And if you guys do listen at all, we love to get those Barbies of the Week from other podcasters because it helps us tie things together with you guys, and also our listeners. But like if there's something interesting that Barbie does in the week, we do this, Barbie of the Week. One of them was when he had a fight. That's his son doing the Barbie of the Week intro. One week he had a bare-fisted fight, and it was bare-fisted Barbie with
Kung Fu grip.
Kung Fu grip.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we do something like that every week. And
Assault and battery not included.
assault. That was it. Assault and batteries not included. That was my favorite one. So yeah, we do stuff like that every week. It's fun. And then of course, Wayne and Troy are Sir Wayne and Sir Troy.
Aw,
That's too
thank you.
funny.
So
Well, why don't you guys plug your shows real quick so that everybody that's listening that likes all of your shows or just one of your shows, they know where to find everybody's show. So whoever wants to speak for your respective show, I think we have, 3 or 4 here total, right? Total shows?
Something like that.
All right.
Karen and I do the Chester's Mill Gazette, 1Z, 2Ts. It is at goldenspiralmedia.com/dome.
Okay. Rob, Olivia?
Well, we do the Chester's Mill Report, and it's on Southgate Media Group, and you can find us on our website, on Stitcher, on iTunes, everywhere. And Martha will be on, even though she's kicking and screaming her way into it. She will be on, so we'll have the trio back.
Perfect.
Is it because of the last season? Is that why she's
Oh
kicking
yeah,
and
man.
screaming?
She was having a hard time by the end, and even with the preview, she's going, I don't know if I can do it.
It is a commitment. It is a
Yeah.
commitment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mark, where can people find you?
Well, you could find me. It's the Under the Dome podcast, and I'm at solotalkmedia.com, and the easiest place to find me is on Twitter at solotalkmedia.
yay.
And it's just me. No co-host. It's just me.
That's why it's the solo.
Well,
Exactly.
you've got some dulcet tones, man.
That's right.
And Troy and Wayne. One of you has to talk. That's how this works.
Never.
Okay,
never.
I'll take care. You can, of course, find Under the Dome Radio at underthedomeradio.com and all the usual places. We are a proud member of the Noodle Mix Network, and we look forward to many shenanigans this coming season, let me tell you.
There'll be a couple.
And people don't use the word shenanigans nearly enough.
That's
No.
true.
No.
Or wacky hijinks, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, hijinks and shenanigans go hand in hand. They
It's
really
true,
do.
they do.
Well, I think that's going to do it for our Under the Dome panel, guys. I want to thank Doug, Karen, Mark, Olivia, Rob, Troy, Wayne, and I'll thank myself just for the heck of it.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thanks for everybody being here. I hope season 3 is as... Actually, I hope it's crazier. I really want it to be the kind of show where people are just in the streets screaming, throwing their televisions on the ground because they just have no idea what happened.
I think
That-
so. I
that's
think that
good
sounds
TV.
great.
Doesn't it sound good?
The crazier it is, the more we want to podcast about it.
Yes,
Absolutely.
exactly. It's like I want to wake up in the morning and talk to Doug immediately. Oh my God, Doug, did you see what happened?
And I will have missed it, I'm sure.
Well, everybody, check out all those shows. They love to talk about the Dome. You can hear it. There's 4 shows for you to choose from. Listen to all of them because they're all great. And we'll talk to all of you out at Chester Mill. Was it Chester's Mill? You can edit this. We'll talk to all of you about Chester's Mill this season.
Hi.
Troy, you can unlive. Bye, everybody. Or bye,
Unlive it, Troy.
internet people.